Hello, my lovely dear students in 4th primary. How are you? This is the last lesson in Unit 7, multiplication and division. In this unit, we have learned about two concepts, which are multiplying by one digit and two-digit factors and dividing by one-digit divisors. We have used our knowledge about patterns of multiplying by multiples of 10 and distribution and decomposing while learning new strategies to help us solve division and multiplication problems. Such as what? Such as the area model وكمان البارشل products algorithm and the standard algorithm. We have also learned how to use these strategies to check our answers. Today, in lesson 16, which is called Solving Challenging Story Problems, which is the last lesson in Unit 7. We will use our knowledge of the different strategies we have learned, which is multiplication facts and place value, وكمان ال patterns in multiplication and division to solve problems using the addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Now, are you excited to do this with me? Now, let's start with page 322 in your school book. Let's see it all together. Okay, here in the axis part, as you see, a student answered a division problem and used the multiplication to check his answer, as we learned in the previous lesson. Now I'll give you time to check the division problem the student answered. Okay, now let's answer the problem all together. In the previous lesson, we said that to check our answer, كنا بنعمل إيه؟ Yes, to check our answer in the division problems, we must multiply the quotient by the divisor. وبعدين بعمل إيه؟ And I must add the remainder if I have any remainder. Okay, طيب if the answer was correct, هلاقي إيه؟ هلاقي البرودكت ده هيبقى لازم equal to the dividend. In this problem, the two numbers that we will multiply together are what and what? Are the divisor, which is 7, like you see here, and هعمل ال 7, which is the divisor, times what? Yes, times the quotient, which is 23. يبقى هعمل times the divisor times the quotient, right? The answer will be what? The product will be 161. Here 161, this is what? This is equal to the dividend. 161 is equal to the dividend, right? So now let's move to the build part to know more about challenging story problems and how to organize the information. ازاي هرتب الانفورميشن بتاعتي to determine when to add عشان اعرف احدد امتى هعمل addition و subtraction او multiplication او division. In the activity on page 323, you are asked to read the problems 3 times. Let's move to this part. Okay, as you see here, you are allowed to read the problem 3 times as we did in the previous lesson. If you remember, right? The problem says what? Here the problem says that Ahmed and his mom want to plant a garden. Ahmed and his mom want to plant a garden. They buy 35 tomato plants, 16 carrot plants, and 9 beet plants. They want to put the plants in 6 rows. طيب أول question بيقول لي إيه؟ أول question بيسألني what is happening in the problem؟ إيه اللي بيحصل في البروبلم؟ أو البروبلم بتتكلم عن إيه؟ What is this problem about؟ As you have read that Ahmed and his mom will buy different plants and put them in rows. تعالوا نكتب الكلام ده. يبقى أحمد and his mom, they want to plant garden, right? Want to plant a garden, right? Okay, and this is the first question. And then put the plants in rows. طيب, as we have read in the problem, we can answer the second question. هو second question بيقول لي إيه؟ بيقول لي what quantities are in this problem? Yes, the quantities are what? زي ما احنا شايفين كده 35 tomato, 35 tomato. Quantities يعني هكتب numbers. okay, and 16 carrot plants, 16 carrot plants. What else? And 9 beet plants, right? All of these are quantities in our problem. وإيه كمان؟ وعندي 6 rows. Okay, and this is the answer of the second question. Now it's your turn. I will give you time to read and think about the answer to the third question. Okay, third question بيقول لي إيه؟ بيسألني what mathematical questions you can ask about this situation. إيه الquestions اللي ممكن تسألها about this problem? Now start reading the problem and think about the answer to the third question and take your time. Now I want to tell you some of the questions my students thought about. عايزة أقول لكم أسئلة students بتوعي فكروا فيها. Some students thought of adding the numbers of plants to find the total. طب ممكن أسأل سؤال إيه؟ Find the total number of plants, right? Okay. طيب, some other students thought about how to divide the number of all the plants by the number of them in the class. I am sure you have thought of different questions. متأكدة إن أنتوا عندكم أسئلة كتيرة تانية ممكن تسألوها about this problem. Okay, I will ask you a question about the problem. أنا شايفة إن most suitable question that I will tell you now. So write it with me. ممكن أسأل how many plants will they need to plant in each row. تعالوا نكتبه. How many plants will they need. هيحتاجوا كام plants to plant in each row. كل row هيحتاجوا يعملوا how many plants. Okay, now first we need to find the total number of plants. تعالوا بقى نحلها مع بعض. Here I will write here the solution. يبقى أول حاجة I need to find the total. To find the total I will add all the numbers, right? 35 plus 16 plus 9. So the answer will be what? If you add these three numbers, you will find that the answer is 60, and this is the total number. Then we will divide 60 by the number of rows. هو أنا كان عندي how many rows? 6. يبقى هعمل 60 divided by 6, right? 60 divided by 6 equals what? 60 divided by 6 equals to 10. Okay, now from what we know that the quotient will be 10. So the number of plants will be 10 in each row. يبقى أنا كده محتاجة 10 plants in each row. Now you can practice how to solve this type of challenging story problems and organize the information, نرتب information you have by answering problem number 2 on page 324. Now I will show you a group of different story problems. Here are the different story problems. In the activity show and solve, we will answer problems number 1 and 3 all together. Please write the numbers of the problems as you see here. You can write the number of the problems we are going to solve in this table on page 325. Now let's move to problem number 1. Let's see problem number 1. Here's problem number 1 as you see. Here we will use or we will see how to organize the information. هنتعلم ازاي how to organize the information we have to solve the problem. Now let's read the problem all together. Here the problem says that Mira bought 4 packs of pencils. There were 28 pencils in each of those packs. She also وكمان عندها 3 smaller packs of pencils at her house. There are 12 pencils in each of those. Okay, now Mira wanted to bring all her pencils to school and give them وتقسمها على 4 of her friends. السؤال بيقول لي ايه؟ بيقول لي how many pencils will each friend get؟ كل واحد هياخد how many pencils؟ Okay, now let's think for the answer all together. Now to calculate the number of pencils for each of Mira's friend, we need to find what? We need to find the number of pencils with Mira first. يبقى أنا محتاجة أعرف ميرا معاها how many pencils. طيب دلوقتي أنا عندي 4 packs of pencils، كل باك فيهم عندها 28 pencils. يبقى هعمل إيه؟ Of course I will multiply these two numbers 4 times 28 right؟ أوكي يبقى أول حاجة هعملها 4 times 28 and put these two numbers in brackets. Then what should I do? I will add what? Yes, I will add 3 packs times 12. 3 packs times 12 pencils, right? يبقى هعمل 3 times 12 in another bracket. Then what should I do? تعالوا نعمل أول 4 times 28. So 28 can be 20 and 8, right? First of all, I will multiply what? هعمل 4 times 8. Here 4 times 8 gives me what? Excellent. 4 times 8 gives me 32. Plus what? 4 times 20. 4 times 20 equals what? Of course, 4 times 20 gives me 80. يبقى أنا عندي هنا 32 plus 80, right? Then what should I do? Yes, I will add 32 plus 80. Here 32 plus 80 equals what? Equals 112. Then the next step, I will go to 3 times 12. Here 12 can be 10 and 2. So what should I do? I will multiply 2 times 3. 2 times 3 equals what? 2 times 3 equals 6. Plus, I'll multiply 3 times 10, right? Because this 10 is not only 1, it is 10. 3 times 10 equals what? 3 times 10 equals 30. يبقى هعمل 6 plus 30 equals 36. Then, what should I do? Of course, I will add these two numbers. يبقى هعمل 112 plus 36. Here 112 plus 36 equals what? The answer will be 148, and this is my answer. This is the total number of pencils Mira has. طيب تعالوا كده let's go back to the problem. Problem كانت عايزة إيه؟ Mira wants to distribute توزع these pencils to 4 of her friends. يبقى هعمل إيه؟ Yes, I need to divide this number by 4. So I will divide 148 divided by 4, right? طيب تعالوا بقى نستخدم الاريا موديل. So I will draw a rectangle and write the divisor. هرسم الريكتانجل بتاعي for the area model, and I will put the divisor here, which is 4. تعالوا بقى نفكر في multiples of 4. I can do or I can repeat 4 10 times. يعني هعمل ايه؟ يعني هعمل 4 times 10 equals 40, right? هعمل كده 4 times 10 equals 40, and I will write 10 down, right? Okay. Then we will write 10 down as you see here. Then I will subtract 40 from 148. مش النمبر كله 148، يبقى هاجي أعمل 148 minus 40, right? The answer will be what? Yes, the answer will be 108. Then, what should I do? In the same way, I will continue decomposing the number. I can use the same multiple twice. So, أقدر أعمل تاني 4 times 10 equals 40. I will write it again. 4 times 10 equals 40. I will put this 10 down as you see here. Okay? Again, I will subtract 40 from 108. هاجي أعمل 108 minus 40. Here 108 minus 40 gives me what? 108 minus 40 gives me 68, right? Okay. Then what should I do? I can multiply again 4 times 10 equals 40, right? I will write it for the third time. 4 times 10 equals 40. And as usual, I will put 10 down. Then what should I do? Again, I will subtract 40 from 68. هعمل 68 minus 40. 68 minus 40 gives me what? Yes, gives me 28. Now, it's very easy for me now to divide 28 by 4. 28 divided by 4 equals what? or 4 times what gives me 28? Yes, 4 times 7 of course gives me 28. So I will write in this space 7. Okay, أنا عندي هنا 10, 10, 10 and 7. So the answer will be what? The answer that I will add all these numbers. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 7 equals to 37. Right? Okay. Now, this is the answer to the problem, and Mira now needs to give 37 pencils to each one of her friends. Now, let's check problem number 3. I will read the problem, and I need you to write the quantities you hear and organize the information, and then it will help you to answer the problem. Now, let's move to problem number 3. Here in problem number 3, let's read it all together. It says that Jasmine wants to organize her books from greatest number of pages to the least number of pages. Jasmine's longest book has 396 pages. Her shortest book has 276 fewer pages than this one. Type, if the book in the middle of her shelf has 3 times the number of pages of the shortest one. السؤال بيقول لي ايه؟ السؤال بيقول لي how many pages does the middle book have؟ عايز يعرف الميدل book فيه how many pages. Please look at this problem. From the problem we know that what? We know that the longest book has 396 pages. تعالوا نكتب كده the longest one. Longest book has 396 pages, right? Okay. The shortest book has 276 fewer pages than that. Now we need to know how many pages the middle book has if it has 3 times the number of pages of the shortest one. طيب أول حاجة عايزة إيه؟ عايزة أعملها إيه؟ Now we need to know how many pages are there in the shortest book. تعالوا نعمل كده. The shortest book هيبقى فيه كام pages؟ The shortest book equals what? Yes, هو قال لي 276 fewer than this number. يبقى هعمل 396 minus 276, right? Okay. If I subtract these two numbers, the answer will be 120. يبقى the shortest one has 120 pages. Now we know the number of pages in the shortest one. So it will be very easy for me to find the number of pages in the middle book. Why? Because the middle book is 3 times the number of pages of the shortest one. So the middle one equals to what? Yes, of course, 3 times 120, right? Okay, now 3 times 1 equals 3, 3 times 2, 6, and 3 times 0, 0. So the number of pages are 360. Thus, we have practiced answering the story problems. You can complete this activity in your classes. Your teachers will show you more problems, and that's a chance to have more practice. Now you can also discuss and compare your answers and strategies with your partners or friends. Here we use different strategies to answer the previous problems. Now let's agree of one or more strategy to use to solve the problems under the practice part. Now we have in the practice part 3 problems. Let's see it. Here in the practice part, as you see, we have 3 problems. They are similar to the problems we solved before. And today, we will solve together problem number 2, and you can solve the rest of the problems on your own. Now, problem number 2 says what? Problem number 2 says that Hadi has 347 marbles. Okay, Kamal has 4 times as many as Hadi. So, Kamal has what? تعالوا نكتب كده. Kamal معاه قد إيه؟ Yes, 4 times as many as Hadi. يبقى هعمل 4 times 347. Right? Okay. The rest of the problem says that Hala has 799 fewer than Kamal. Okay? So, the question is what? how can we find how many marbles Hala has? طيب, now take your time to think about the problem. When we are back, we will check your answers all together. And now after you have finished, here we need to know how many marbles Kamal has. عايزين نعرف هو كمال معاه how many marbles. Of course, I'll multiply 4 times 347. I will use the standard algorithm for multiplication. Okay? طيب, standard algorithm يبقى I must write these two numbers under each other like you see here. Okay? Then I will start with the ones. هي 4 times 7 equals what? 4 times 7 equals 28, right? So, I will write 8 the ones place, 2 I will put it on the tens place. Again, put 8 down and carry up 2. Then, what should I do? I will multiply 4 times 4. Here, 4 times 4 equals what? Of course, 4 times 4, 16. And don't forget to add the 2. 16 plus 2 gives me 18. Again, I will put the 8 down and carry up 1 on the 100 place. Then I will move to the 100. I'll multiply 4 times 3. 4 times 3 equals what? 12. And don't forget to add the 1. So 12 plus 1 gives me 13. I will write it here in this place. So the answer is 1388. يبقى كمال معاه 1388 marbles, right? Then what should I do? Hala has 799 fewer than Kamal. 799 أقل من Kamal. So I will subtract. يبقى Hala. To find Hala, what should I do? I will subtract the two numbers. I will write 1388 minus 799, right? Okay. Here I can use the addition and subtraction strategies. For example, we can use the benchmark strategy. طيب, هو أقرب benchmark ل 799 is what? Of course, 800, right? طيب, to reach 800, I will add 1, right? So, what should I do now? I will subtract 1388 minus 800, right? The answer will be what? The answer will be 588. Then, what should I do? Yes, زي ما عملت here plus 1, I will make the answer plus 1. يبقى هعمل 588 plus 1. Why? Because it is subtraction. So, 588 plus 1, the answer will be 589, and this is my final answer. This is the end of our lesson. Today we have learned how to solve the challenging story problems and organize نرتب الانفورميشن بتاعتنا in the problem to know which operation or strategy to use. To develop our skills and solve more and more problems on what we have learned in today's lesson, you can scan the code shown here to have access to the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. Thank you so much for your watching, and see you next lesson.